The story I want to tell you today is titled The Frog in the Well. In an old, shallow well, where light could only seep down through a tiny opening above, a frog had lived for many years. It never left the well, because to it, the world was simply what it saw every day. The damp well walls, the green moss covering the stones, and the tiny creatures like tree frogs, snails, and crabs, all of them its neighbors. Whenever the frog croaked, its voice echoed throughout the well, startling the other creatures. They would scatter in panic, scrambling for cover. This only made the frog more pleased with itself. It believed it was the strongest, the ruler of this world. To the frog, the sky was nothing more than a small circle, like the lid of a pot, and anything beyond that simply did not exist. "I am the lord of this place," the frog told itself whenever it saw the other creatures tremble at its call. "No one can compare to me." And so, day after day, the frog lived in its illusion, unaware that the world outside was vast and far more complex. Then, one year, a heavy rainstorm lasted for days. Rainwater flowed into the well, rising little by little. For the first time in its life, the frog felt the ground beneath it disappear, and it was swept up by the rising water, powerless to resist. One day, the water reached the top of the well and pushed the frog up and out of its familiar home. As it leapt onto the well's edge, the frog was stunned. Before its eyes stretched an endless, deep blue sky. White clouds drifted lazily, towering trees swayed in the wind, and birds soared freely above. The sun shone brilliantly, no longer confined by the well's walls. The frog couldn't believe its eyes. It shook its head, trying to steady itself, but the more it looked, the more unsettled it became. "Impossible," the frog murmured. "How can the sky be this vast? The world can't be bigger than my well." Desperate, it let out a loud croak, hoping to restore things to how they were. But its voice no longer echoed. No one was frightened, no one ran, no one even noticed it. The frog jumped onto a rock and croaked again, but there was still no response. This left it feeling more frustrated and bewildered than ever. For the first time, it realized how small and insignificant it was in this vast world. A strange, terrifying feeling it had never known before. Lost in thought, the frog didn't notice a buffalo slowly approaching. It didn't move in time, and in the end, it was crushed under the buffalo's hooves, its life ending in shock and disbelief. The story of the frog in the well is a lesson about arrogance and narrow-mindedness. When someone spends too long in a small, limited space, they may mistakenly believe that it is the entire world. But reality is always much bigger. If we don't expand our knowledge, we risk becoming outdated and getting crushed by life, just like the frog.